So we're going to be making Neapolitan bread dough today, following Ooni's recipe, because we've just purchased an Ooni out. Sorry, Sean's doing this in the back of the stock. Go away. So we're going to be making bread dough using Ooni's recipe, because we bought an Ooni pizza oven. So part of our COVID-19 coronavirus stay at home. Sorry, we're having some really weird things going on in the garden. Anyway, so I have James with me. Say hi, James.
Hello.
So, lovely mother and son activity to do together. First of all then, we are going to have 300 mils of water, cold water. So we're going to take 2/3 of the cold water, put it into a saucepan and bring it to the boil. Then we're going to now add it to the other third of the cold water.
The janitor isn't supposed to be on set. Security.
Which James is going to.
Security.
Housekeeping.
Which James is going to whisk the 3 grams or 1/4 teaspoon of active dry yeast. We haven't got fresh yeast, so we're using 3 grams of active dry yeast and 2 tablespoons, 10 grams of salt. So if you can whisk those together quick, honey. I'm then going to put 500 grams of strong bread flour into a mixing bowl. When that's whisked thoroughly, then we need to add that to the flour mix. If you're using a food mixer, hint please, we'd like one for a birthday, coming at the end of the month. So nice KitchenAid stand mixer would be lovely, thank you. But we're mixing this by hand. So what we're going to do then is we're going to pour now this yeast, salt and water mix into the flour mix, James, and we're going to, with a spoon, pour it in, darling, and then stir it as you're pouring it in, so I'll help.
Yeah, stir.
Well then,
Stir. There you go.
Okay, stirring it into the mix. So the reason you put the hot water in with the cold water is apparently that gives the correct temperature for the yeast to mix and to dissolve. So I didn't know that before. So what we're going to do is we're going to start. If you can use your hands, are your hands clean?
Yeah.
So then you might need to start proving with your hands. I'll get a little bit more water just in case we need to add some, if it's not
No,
quite
it's not
enough.
too bad. We just need to make sure we get
Yeah, make sure
it.
you've got it with your
It's very.
hands.
So you end up with a very dry and shaggy dough.
Right, so now you need to take it off the wooden spoon in your hands. Try and use your hands now. I think we've got enough fluid in there, haven't we?
Yeah. It's just like obviously there's hot spots.
And I don't know
there's
that the
too much flour and there's too much water in some places, so you just mix that with your hands.
mix it all in to take it off. Spread the whole thing like that.
That.
The whole thing. Okay, cool. Now start mixing it into a dough with your clean hands.
Yeah, wash your hands, guys, now more than ever.
Okay. So try and get that to a good dough consistence. And then when we've got it to what we think is a good dough consistency, keep going, get it all in together, we're then going to flour the work surface, lightly flour the work surface, clean work surface, and knead for about 10 minutes.
Make sure not to spill
A
half
little
of
bit
it on
there
the
for the
floor.
floor, which we'll throw away into the food bin. Right, is that it? Do you want to turn it out into there? Get it all together.
Right.
Don't be frightened of it.
There we go.
Hang on a minute, I'm going to
Don't be scared. It's not going to bite.
lightly flour the work surface, so plop it in the middle of that, James. Yeah. I don't know if you need some more. That's
No,
it. Keep
that's it,
keep
that's it.
kneading it now for a good 10 minutes. Okay, knead it, stretch it.
this builds up the gluten inside the dough so that it becomes strong and you can stretch it out quite thin. And now obviously if you're gluten free, then I don't know how this is going to work for you, if I'm honest.
But you can get gluten-free products.
You can get gluten-free products, but the thing you'll find is it'll be a lot, you know, it'll still taste good and it'll still be dough, but the problem is you won't be able to stretch it to that sort of thinness.
So good to keep kneading it. Do you know how to knead?
Yes.
That's it, good. So push it into a ball, then push it across, that's it, keep going. We have accompanied acoustics by Fudge in the background playing with her Christmas pudding toy, and we've got the dishwasher, and we have Lady Antebellum playing on our Google Hub.
Well, every day's Christmas for Fudge.
This is a great way to get your children involved as well, and to be baking bread and dough. It's the first time we've done this actually, and then we'll show you later on the result, hopefully, in terms of our homemade pizzas.
Yeah, now is more than ever a good time to contact maybe distant family members, maybe someone you haven't seen for a while, on Skype, or give them a call or something like that. It's good to connect, especially in a time like this, you know. When you've got loads of free time on your hands, some of you are probably working from home, I know, but it's just 10 minutes, speak to some family, it'll make you feel better or make them feel better.
And particularly if you have any sort of underlying health conditions or mental health conditions, because you know, it can be quite an insular world anyway, so even to sort of break it up and to cope. So how do you cope, I suppose, if you have any mental health conditions? So for instance, I suffer from ill mental health at times, and it's very important that I keep to a routine and I keep upbeat. So if I don't have contact with my dearest and dearest, it really suffers me and my colleagues at work. So what I tend to do at the moment is, and James joins me, is we'll do our one form of exercise a day. We'll go for a cycle ride. We're quite lucky at the moment because we are along an estuary, so what makes me feel really happy is the smell of the natural smell of the sea, and the sand and the salt as you go along, the seaweed.
Or just being around nature in general, you know, not everyone's by the sea, obviously. You need just go out in the woods, maybe a park, just go out and, just a bit more. Go out and experience, you know, it's probably a bad time to start now, but one form of exercise a day, if you're going to go for a run, make sure you do it in a scenic place. It's quite freeing. It is.
Well, sounds of the birds, isn't it,
Yeah,
James?
sound of the birds, the smell of, you know, grass and plants and everything.
If your neighbours are
nice.
cutting the grass, the smell of fresh cut grass is a natural form of, you know, a mood lifter. So some young people suffer from ADHD, and I suppose it's a worry then if you're cooped up in a room because you need to come and do things. So how do you then help yourself struggle with the results and the issues to do with that? So what sort of things would you recommend for that, James?
For what? Sorry, I was a bit engrossed there.
Sorry,
I've got ADHD, I wasn't listening.
Yeah, funny to pun. Yeah, so seriously, no. But all joking aside, so how do you cope with that at the moment?
Being inside and
with your ADHD,
being cooped up. Well, I mean, I probably cope with it in a bad way by playing the PS4 most of the time. But
not all day though.
Not all day, no. But again, one form of exercise that does help, because I find that if I go out, even, you know, when the gyms were open, I used to go to the gym and I'd feel fine. But yeah, just make sure to get out, get fresh air, even, you know, well, it's probably not the best idea, but just make sure you're doing something active anyway. Even in your room, you know, I've started doing workouts in my room now because it just helps afterwards. All the endorphins actually just relax you, and I find that I get the most homework done after a workout, and I'm the happiest and I'm the most calm.
So you're one of those unfortunate young people that aren't able to take your exams, are you, for your end of your BTEC Level 3 engineering course? So how are you coping with that?
Well, I think the college is coping with it for me, really. That it's going to be an open book exam with just higher grade boundaries. So I mean, there's really not much to do with that, other than obviously it's difficult for me just to do normal tasks throughout the day. Everything's a massive chore, so just revising on top of that's going to be difficult. But you know, it's just a case of reminding yourself, if you're really into what you're doing, you know, probably maybe some of you are at school and you don't want to do English. What's the point? You don't want to do maths, but when you get to a point where you're doing what you've chosen, what you want to do, say at college or at sixth form, you've got to drive yourself and think of actually what am I going towards here. And it's quite hard for young people to do that, but it's really good at this age to have a sense of direction, to have a destination, because if I find that I'm working for no reason, it doesn't help. You know, when you don't know where you're going to end up. What is maths actually going to do for me? What is English actually going to do for me? What's homework actually going to do for me? What are the exams going to do? You know, it's good to understand and try and figure out where you want to go further on in life, you know, for work, because everyone's got to work unless you're a stock market trader.
But they obviously
worked
to get there, didn't they?
Exactly, even that's a pain. Yeah, you can't just, you know,
jump out of bed and become a stock trader.
Become a penny stock trader. Yeah.
But you found it. Just to say, we've been going for 7 minutes, and you've got 3 left, so that's good.
Oh.
So just to say that you found education very hard in the early years, didn't you? And you really struggled.
Yeah, I still do, but I cope because I know what's wrong with me. I know what makes it so hard, so at least I can identify that and just go, right, okay, well this is why I'm feeling this way about a lesson or about a task, and just get on with it. I know it sounds so just get on with it, but if there's one thing I know that my ADHD helps me do is be industrious. Little tasks like this, just getting on with something like this, is actually rewarding in the end. Even just making dough. Like, I actually don't want to make dough.
not this kind of dough, anyway.
I'm actually just really not enjoying this, but
were you
it's rewarding at the end because you know you've done something, even if it's just making dough. Oh look, I've made dough and it works and it rises perfectly.
Well, hopefully it will. Yeah.
Even handing in homework is like the most satisfying feeling in the world. Just, that's done. Forget about that.
Well, might have an input here from Dad coming in, who can't resist. Hello.
I'm getting through COVID-19 problems with Rhino Goo. Rhino Goo, correct product placement.
We're not actually sponsored by Rhino Goo.
We're not sponsored by anyone, but if you want to sponsor us, that would be great. Now, unfortunately, we are stuck in this house. But it's quite a large house and we do have a garden, but as you can see, things are getting a bit difficult.
It's not a large house, it's not large enough for him. I can feel the kneading's working, that gluten's really making it tough, which is good.
So we're nearly done on that. We've just got just under a minute to go, and then we'll let you know what's going on with that. We'll put it into the bowl and prove it and show you how to do that. And then what we'll do is we'll stop the video and we'll upload a further one with the next step, if you like. We don't want to keep you hanging on for 2 hours. So I'll go over what we've done.
I'm going to prove it.
So the ingredients we've used were, we're making classic Neapolitan pizza dough as the recipe of ooni, O-O-N-I, pizza ovens. They've also got a cookbook out, and there was also some free recipes on their website at uk.ooni.com. Now, we're making Neapolitan pizza dough. We're making it by hand because we don't have a food mixer. I would love a KitchenAid standalone mixer with a dough hook, because I'm sure we could make more. Hint, hint, hint.
Yeah, some other good, actually YouTube content for recipes, I'd say, is You Suck at Cooking and Binging with Babish. That's Binging with Babish, B-A-B-I-S-H. Yeah, they do really good recipes there. He actually does a good sort of video on pizza dough basics with Babish. It's quite good. Right,
so James, that's done your full 10 minutes of kneading. So I'll quickly go over the recap over the ingredients. You can put that in the bowl now. Roll it into a nice ball. So put it into a proper ball and tuck under the ends. That's it on the side. So turn, that's it. Bowl, tuck it under to make it a nice ball. So we've used 300 mils of cold water. Now to that cold water I took 2/3 heated up that 2/3 of water to boiling point and added it to the 1/3 of the cold. That looks lovely, it's a perfect ball. Do you want to just show them? Yeah,
right,
perfect
let's get it
ball.
like this, a big ball.
We used 2 teaspoons or 10 grams of salt. We used a half a teaspoon or 3 grams of dry active yeast. You can use fresh yeast at 7 grams. And then we used 500 grams of strong plain bread flour. Now at the moment it's really difficult to get hold of flour, good quality flour. Thank you Lidl for the flour. And I had yeast already in the cupboard because at the moment I can't get yeast anywhere. I've tried several supermarkets. So what we did then was we heated the water, 2/3 in a saucepan, added it to the 1/3 of the cold water, and then we whisked the yeast and the salt together, 10 grams of salt, 2 teaspoons, with the yeast into the warm water. That was the right temperature to dissolve the yeast. We added that then to the 500 grams of strong plain bread flour. Now ooni recommend 0-0 flour, but at the moment we've just got to have what we can get really. So then what we've done is we've now kneaded that, mixed it and kneaded it for 10 minutes. Now if you look at that, that's a perfect round bread dough at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to, thank you James, after kneading it for 10 minutes, we're going to now place the tea towel over the top, place it into a bowl, and we're going to put it into a warm room. Can you put that into utility, darling? Into utility room, into a warm room.
High humidity, so utility's perfect. Washing machine next to a dryer or something like that.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to put that into the utility room, into a warm place for 2 hours to prove. Then what we'll do is we will return in 2 hours and do the next stage, and we'll set up video number 2 for that. Thank you for watching.